Yeah, pine and cedar are very toxic for rabbits. They cause liver failure and liver damage. And it's basically the same as if you were huffing paint thinner all the time. And so guinea pigs and rabbits should never be on those, and even hamsters, but that's what they sell it for, mostly because I guess hamsters smell a little bit. And so people use that to kind of counter the smell, but it's not good for them. And it's unfortunately really bad for rabbits. The reason rabbits are used for lab animals is because they are so sensitive to these things, and they have reactions to everything. And so they are so sensitive to their environment. This is why they do cosmetic testing and shampoo testing and all these things on rabbits. I really wish they would stop, because the rest of the civilized world is already backing off this. India and Europe banned animal testing in the last year, and I'm anticipating we'll see that here in our country soon. But the problem is that we've got to fight the lobbies. And the lobbies, there's money involved, or whatever there's money involved, it's never about pretty what's right, it's about the money. And so it needs to become financially feasible for these guys to go the other direction, and then they will. I wish there was more responsibility with that.
When you talk about pine, there's a difference in pine, so is that correct? Because I was told that white pine doesn't have a pitch that is better for the rabbits.
I don't know. I mean, it smells like pine to me. White pine smells just like pine to me, so maybe not as much of a pitch. Now what they do, I'm going to go on here, is they take the pine and they will make pellets out of them, and they cook it on the stove. And so all of the terpenes or the aromatic oils are cooked out of it. This is called woody pet, or they use it as horse bedding. It is basically pine or fur that's been, sawdust that's been pressed into a pellet. What is nice about this stuff is it's dirt cheap. I'm talking, I bought this bag, 40-pound bag for $8. It's really, really cheap. Now this is what those house rabbit people use. This is Carefresh. Also, Yesterday's News is another popular recycled newspaper product. This is a paper product that is, take a look at each one. This is basically recycled newspaper. This stuff runs about $20 for a big block of it. And it's rather expensive. People say this is the most expensive thing that they use with their bunnies on a regular basis. This one here, not so much. We're just trying this out at my house. You can kind of take a look at those.
They made this used for cats, like excluder cat, and it's paper litter, it's like big pellets, and it's $25 to like $10. So it's in between the two. 25 pounds for $10,
Yeah, I think we used that one with the bunnies for a while too.
Those guys are the one that planet.
Yeah.
Those are what I recommend. And then the cheapest of all things is just newspaper, big old stack. So it takes a lot of newspaper to soak up. And so if you've got access to a lot of newspaper, some people do just use newspaper. Now, this is a little part of the formula that most of you have never seen before. This is my wife's invention. If you want to save a lot of money on Carefresh or whatever, you can make these yourself. This is basically, it fits inside these lights up here. You can buy them at Lowe's. I think we paid $20 for a big old piece, and I make about 6 of these out of one piece. The purpose of this is it goes in the bottom of the litter box. What we do is we take the absorbent material, and you'll put about a quarter to a half an inch of this at the bottom of the box. So this would be roughly what the box would look like. A big old blob of this in the bottom. It's going to soak up the urine. Then we throw this on top. The point of this guy here is that when your rabbit digs in the hay, he doesn't stir up the stuff on the bottom. The bunnies only use one corner of the box. So when you go to clean your rabbit's box, there's going to be pee in one little corner. All the rest of the stuff is still good. So, hence the grate. What you do is you pop the grate off, you just get a little big spoon and you scoop out the dirty part. You get an extra clean litter box and you pour out the what's left over that's good. You rinse this out with vinegar and water. You spray your vinegar and water, rinse it out, pour the other part in, and now you've saved 75% of your Carefresh with this little grate.
So it has to be smaller than the litter box.
It has to be a little bit, and it can be a lot smaller because the bunny's not, he's standing on it. He can't pull this out. My gals will, because we actually don't use any of these materials. What we use at my house is powdered hay. We buy bales of hay, so there's always a lot of powder down left at the bottom. So we use that powdered hay down here. So all of that little powdered hay, they're trying to get down through here to get to it, my rabbits are. And he can't get to it because this grate's there, and they're standing on it. And they'll break, and we've got some that have got pieces missing out of it and all, but they last forever, pretty much. And we just basically throw the hay on top. Now what you want to do is you want to have overflowing litter boxes of hay. Because when the rabbits get on top, they press it all down. And so, now this is a little condensed here, but you want the box to be just about full to overflowing with the hay. Because as the rabbit sits on top of that all day long, it's going to press down, he's going to eat in it. When you come back the next day, it's going to be right down on top of that grate. He'll have this a little layer there. And that's what you want. Let's see what happens. Oh, here, I did have a box here.
So you buy one bucket will eat most of this hay?
I have 2 rugs together, but they will go through all of this in a day. Yeah. I mean, it'll be down to like, they'll just be like, that will all be gone, and there'll be maybe just a little layer like this. It'll be all smashed down flat and everything. Yeah, they go through a lot. They eat a lot of hay. Rabbits are supposed to eat a lot of hay.
Yes.
If your bunny is not eating that much hay, then it means that you're replacing the hay with other things. And this is what I was telling you when we started this. Is the key here is getting them to eat this and not the other stuff, and you're going to be happier, and he's going to be happier in the long run. Okay, so I showed you how to do a litter box, and basically it's not a dirty one, so I won't clean it. But we're going to talk now about housing your rabbit. Now, you mentioned your bunny's free run. Is your bunny free run as well?
Well, they don't get along large enough like bonding too, so we have them in their X pens and we let them free run for different parts of the day.
Okay.
So morning and then night.
Okay, but that's going to cause now, you've got a lot of pee and poop problems, huh? You got a lot of pee and poop problems because when one goes around in an area and then you let another bunny in the area, he goes around and goes, there was another bunny here, so he's going to say, now this is mine, now this is mine, now this is mine, and then when the other one comes there, he's going to mark it. I mean, they don't do that?
There's one that-
The female kind of poops in front of her X pen.
That's marking it to say it's hers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine, it's just that she's...
You may be able to bond these two. They sound, I mean, if they're not doing that, they may be, you may be able to get them together. Okay, so anyways, we're talking about ways to house our rabbit. A lot of people think that free roaming rabbit that's cage free and just goes wherever he wants is the ideal scenario for a bunny. I'm not so convinced. It's like we talked about. Sometimes the bunnies who free roam all the time, they never get very active because why get active? I'm free all the time. I don't have to be excited about being free. I'm a free bunny. Well, when you have a bunny that lives, say, in this environment, and he gets his 2 hours, 3 hours a day of running around outside, boy, you're going to see him running and dinking and playing and really active. He knows you better put the rinse on while he's got the chance. So this is typical of a rabbit that doesn't get out all the time. When you finally let them out, they're going to run and play. The ones that are around all the time tend to be, couch potatoes and not doing a whole lot. So free roaming is one way of keeping a bunny. Having them in an X-pen or in a condo is the other 2 ways of having a rabbit. Those are really the only ways I know that are acceptable as far as a pet rabbit. Anything to do with the hutch outdoors is really not a pet, in my opinion. So we don't use wire bottom cages in our homes because we don't want them pulling their toes out. And so if you have a bunny condo, don't get the kind that has a wire bottom on them. Those are done for farmers so that the pee and poop drop right through. And it's a convenience for the farmer, not for the bunny. The bunny really doesn't like living on wire. When you see a rabbit like this, for example, I haven't checked her, but it causes what's called sore hocks. It wears all of the fur off their elbows. And you can always tell one that's lived in it. See this here? See that skin here? She's worn. It's very typical in this breed of rabbit. Rex rabbits have very sensitive fur and skin. So this type of rabbit, if it's ever lived on a wire bottom cage, will have the ankles or the elbows exposed like that, and it will never go back. And these kind of rabbits, actually the bone will protrude eventually through their skin. From that, they just should not live in that environment. Again, farmers do it, the bunnies only go to live 6 months, so they're not concerned, but we have them as pets. They are languishing on those wire bottom cages, they're not happy about it. You also want to make sure that their cage is not in direct sun. Rabbits cannot tolerate heat very well. They have fur coat on all the time, they have a very high internal body temperature, about 103 degrees, and so anything over 80 can become fatal for a rabbit. So direct sunlight on their cage is not good. If it gets hot, if you don't have air in your home, excuse me, and if it gets warm, we use ice water bottles. We call it bunny air conditioning, and we take these, we freeze them, and we put them in the cage with the rabbit, and the rabbits hug up against them, and it's bunny air conditioning. It's a nice little trick for Southern California temperature, especially if you've got a long hair rabbit. The longer hair rabbits suffer more in the heat than the short hair rabbits do. And I have a long hair rabbit, and he's at about 70, he's starting to get hot, and he wants his ice bottle. So 80 definitely is the key number, though. If you've got a regular short hair rabbit, that's a key number. Anything over 80 temperature-wise, you want to start thinking about their comfort. Okay, so we have the pen environment. The pen environment, what makes a nice home for a rabbit? They've got their litter box, they've got a water crock or a licky bottle. When using a water bowl, you want to make sure that you have a crock. This is the reason we use these is so the rabbit can't tip it over. They can't get a hold of it and pick it up. They will. If you just use a regular dog bowl, they're going to knock it over and spill their water all over the place. And so we use crocks for rabbits. Hidey box is another important part of their environment. They like these because rabbits like being cozy inside. We just get a box and cut some holes in it. And you'll find your bunny spending a lot of time in their hidey box. It's just a cozy, safe feeling place that they like to get inside and kind of hang out. My bunnies have lots of hidey boxes. I mean, they're all over the house, and I even make toys out of mine. Get tunnels and cut holes and make mazes with them, and they get all silly with them and stuff. But this is the way we house our bunnies. Even my 2 free-run bunnies have a condo that when I leave the house and come here, they're in there. Because rabbits are like 2-year-olds. You don't leave them unsupervised. And so when you're gone, if I were to leave my buddies out all the time, I would come home to mayhem. I mean, and it's just